Recording in progress.
Sorry for my camera. I don't know how that. Um, so tonight, I will show you my presentation about the factor analysis SWOT. Okay, let me introduce. My name is Rizka Rahmi. You can call me Rizka. My ID number is 2101810. To prepare a SWOT analysis in order to effective, it must involve further or company leaders indeed and cannot be delegated to other people. Even though other people are involved, it is preparation. Again, 2004 stated that strategic management in organization is related to SWOT analysis as follows. Number A is strength. All factor in the These are factors in the form of strengths possessed by a company, including a business unit within including special competencies within the organization, which result in the business unit having comparative advantage in the market. And the next is weakness. Weakness or weaknesses are limitations and shortcomings in terms of sort of skill and abilities that occur in practice, which can be seen from the facilities and infrastructure owned or owned by the business unit. For the example, law in accordance with market demands. Products that are not are of little interest to user and potential user, and the level of profit generation is inadequate. And the next is opportunities. Various environmental situations that are favorable for a business include the first is important trends that occur among product users. And the next is identify a market segment that has not received attention. And the next step is change in competitive conditions. And the next is change in laws and regulation. And the five, new change in business activities. And the sixth is relationship with buyer familiar. And the last step is harmonious relationship with supplier. Okay, and the last is threats. These are environmental factors that are unfavorable for a business. If they are not addressed, they will become a threat to a business. The first is entry of new competitor in markets already served by other business units. And the next is slow market growth, increasing number of buyers of the product produced. Is this the bargaining position of supplier of raw material or raw materials needed for future processing to become certain product. And the next is technological development and change that have not yet been mastered. And the last is change in statutory regulation are restrictive in nature. Okay, the next is if it associated with entrepreneurial activities. The description of the SWOT analysis is the first is strength. Strength is everything that becomes an advantage for an entrepreneur that is not necessarily owned by competitor of similar and dissimilar goods. Okay, this strength is a positive point of the company being under the control of the business owner and leader. Yeah. An example of a business strength can be a positive point and can be controlled by a company. The first is an effective business process, and the next is an effective work team involved in the business. Physical asset owned by businesses. And the last is product advantage compared to other competitors. And the next is five criteria for an organization that is categorized as one. Okay, just one. The first is relative market. Uh, and the next is relative financial situation and structure. The next is relative production with effective engineering capacity. The next is research and potential development carried out. The next is uh, human capacity and activeness of business management. Okay. The characteristic possessed by organizations that provide the main ability for the business. First, and Robinson 2001 stated that the strength of an organization or company can be related to financial results, image of market leadership, buyer of supplier, relationship, and is other factor. Being strong and having strength is very important for an organization. Otherwise, the opportunities created by the outside environment cannot be used. And the next is weakness. Weakness is one part of the company internal factor that is different from strength. This is weakness factor that reduce the strength of the business. In general, business weaknesses that become negative values for the business include number one is weakness of the products. And number two, weaknesses of the business process that has been carried out. And three is company performance is due to employee performance. The fourth is wasted in the business process includes spending on things that are not important. And the last, positions that are not needed and cause work effectiveness. In the context of SWOT, weaknesses are limitation or deficiencies in skill and ability that seriously hinder organizational performance so that performance becomes ineffective. And the next is opportunities. According to Zimmerer, there are several circumstances that can create opportunities, namely, number one is new product must be marketed immediately within a relatively short period of time. Engineering loss short below. And the next is competitors who are not very aggressive in developing their product strategies. Mm, the next is competitors do not have advances technology. And the next is competitor from the did know has a strategy to maintain their market position. And the last, young companies have the capabilities and research to produce their new product. And the last, threats. Threats to the existence or whereabouts of the product offered by company usually come from the external environment of the business. For example, it is difficult to enter the market because capital is limited and it's a new brand and must face awareness from the target consumer that an entrepreneur wants to target. That's all for me. I think that's all, and I'm sorry for our mistake. And see you soon.